Hi everyone. Hi, welcome to the Healing Room. I am Lynn Scott, and this is my beautiful, beautiful colleague,
Kim Falarin.
Hi, and we are going to welcome our guest today, Avelino.
Yes, guys, since Ivan.
Thank you for being here. We were just speaking before we went on air about
trusting ourselves and attachment styles. And it's beautiful to know that Av has just done his attachment style and he's come out as quite secure. If you've looked at the previous podcast, we were actually talking about attachment styles, and maybe Kemi would like to go through the different attachment styles again, just to bring you up to date, and then we can go straight to Avelino and where he's at right now.
So I'll just give you a quick summary, just in case you've been following the program and you've heard about the different ones.
Give it to them.
So there's 4 types of attachment style. One is secure, which you've got, and which is what we kind of strive to be. And it means you're able to trust yourself, trust others, regulate your emotions, understand for
Sounds
yourself.
a bit perfect, though. I ain't perfect. You know what I mean?
It doesn't mean you still don't struggle or have fears, but you've got that balanced baseline, that foundation of trust for others and trust for yourself. Where you have also anxious ambivalent, and that's what I am. An anxious ambivalent trusts others.
Do you know what though? Not sorry to cut you. I wouldn't really say I just trust others. I don't really trust people, but I just understand we're all human. Do you know what I mean?
I think what you do though is you trust your intuition.
Completely.
And because you trust your intuition, it's not really about others. It's never about anybody else.
Of course.
So by being secure in, that person's just said something and that don't feel right. So I ain't trusting that person, but I'm trusting myself. And that's what creates your security in your attachment style.
Yeah. The foundation of trusting yourself.
Yeah, and it's like, I sort of, when I feel like I trust someone, it's not really, I don't really like to use the word trust because, like I said, we're all human beings, we're flawed. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
People can do things.
Yeah.
It is what it is, but I like to look for sort of integrity. Do you get me? Because the reason why I say that is because I feel like when someone's like, let's say, integrated in their ways or their principles, and they're loyal to those things, loyal to themselves, that's like that's like above trust. That's the highest form of trust to me, because it's like, I'm not even trusting you to be loyal to me. I can trust you to be loyal to your ways.
Yeah.
So I can just be confident.
A man and woman of your word.
Yeah. I feel uncomfortable with saying I trust this person. It's not really about me and that, because like I say, we're all flawed. Things happen, bro.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So yeah.
They're a person of integrity. So even if they did something that may be hurtful, didn't come from a bad intention, a bad place.
I guess, and you know what? Yeah, I guess, man. And I'm just ready for whatever, man. I've been through life, like, you know what I mean? Like, things happen, people do things, like,
But would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I was just about to say, we need to go backwards. We need to go back a little bit.
Go back.
This is, yes, I call him the Great. The Great Avalino, who is now, yes, can you see that, everyone? Yeah, Rolling Stones magazine. He's made the Rolling Stone legend.
I guess who I was talking about. None other than Lynn.
And I am very proud to say he actually mentioned me. A very proud moment. So, over to you, Av. Can you just introduce who you are and what you do?
So my name is Avelino. First and foremost, I'm a rapper. That's what I do. And
#1 album.
yeah, so it's the album I just released this year. God Save the Streets, my debut album. I had a great experience at Sony and went independent for this release. Shout out to David Dollimore, the head over there. I had a conversation with him and I was just like, you know what? I feel like this chapter of my journey should be independent. It's that intuition that I was trusting, and came back to me and eventually let me go and let me do my thing. And I could say it's the #1 independent album in the country.
Wow.
It was independent album of the year as well.
Well done. Did we hear that?
Yeah, which was
2023.
Beautiful. Yeah, which was beautiful. Yeah. And a lot of miracles over the last 18 months. taken place.
And I think the beauty of this album as well is that you trust in yourself, as we were just talking about, 100%. That secure attachment, is that it took you a couple of years to actually get to this space in time. So it's like 100%. You never gave up on your dream.
Yeah, because like your music, with music anyway, your music can never be any more or less than you are as a person, as a human being.
Say that again.
You know what I mean? Says the great Quincy Jones even. And so for me to make, my album's called God Save the Streets, for me to even be able to sort of do a title as such justice, I had to be there as a person. I had to have the right, you know, sort of perspectives, wisdoms, experiences, knowledge, etc. to do that title justice, you know. That's not about talent. Like, this thing ain't about talent. I speak with, you know, footballers, I speak with people in different walks of life, and, you know, the conclusion that I've come to from my best sort of knowledge or observation is that talent is like, makes up 15 or 20% of what's needed at the top, at the highest level of anything, you know, because it's not talent that, you know, allowed me to drop my debut album at 29. It's resilience, it's character, it's mentality, it's persistence, all these things that have nothing to do with talent, you know. So, yeah, so, you know, debut album, I got there in the end, 29 is when I dropped it, and it's not easy, but it's absolutely worth it. I had to get there as a person. You know, my dream was always to, I made a mixtape when I was younger called Iconic Ambition. My dream was always to make something, use my talent to be important, make something important. And what I feel like, you know, nothing is important if it doesn't serve others. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I needed my album to like be more than just about, you know, an exhibition of rap. It needed to be more, it needed to be bigger than the name Avelino. Yeah. Do you get me? And then when God Save the Streets came to me,
it's a fantastic title.
Yeah, I knew, like, you know, all of this, it's like miracle after miracle after miracle after miracle. I call them vibrations, you get me? But you make them happen, you know what I mean? It's like God moves when you move, you know what I mean? So I know God's always going to work for me because I'm always working for me. You know what I mean?
Once it starts, it goes in motion.
100%. You work your own, you know what I mean? So it's like, even the whole process is, I don't know, I remember I was in my manager's office and I saw the Sex Pistols artwork for God Save the Queen. They got a single, God Save the Queen. And it just came to me straight, God Save the Streets. I didn't know it was my album title. A couple of days later, I'm sat there, I'm like, I rang my gaffer, I'm like, manager, football language. And I said, yo, that's my album title. You know? And then from there, and then all the way into the point where, like, you know, Glenn Matlock, who played in the Sex Pistols, he's published by, I got a publishing company, our partners, Cooking Vinyl, they publish him, and then now he's playing guitar on my album.
Wow.
Do you get what I'm saying? So all these, so that's just one of like a million things that fell into place in the process, and, you know, we're here now having a good conversation.
I'm looking forward to this journey and learning about, you know, how you got to this place, because sometimes people see the end product and they don't see the beginning, the highs, the lows, the tears, the sweat. You just see the person in the ring winning. You don't see the process.
100%, man, you know, and that's I feel like, you know, when people make good things happen for themselves, that's like God's work. But then what you just described, it's almost like the devil's way of getting in for the rest of the world, you know what I mean, in terms of lying to people or making people think that this is some overnight business.
Yeah.
This ain't no overnight business, do you know what I mean? You know, so
I like to pattern it to when you're learning to drive, and then when you get that certificate, that's the time you actually learn to drive. When you go out there on your own, you sit in the car and you're like, oh my God, there's no one else here. 100%. Now is your time. Now the albums come out. Now is who you need to be.
1,000,000%. You know, 1,000,000%. I feel exactly the same. Like the school of life.
That's right.
The most important school. Do you get me?
So do you want to talk about a little bit about your beginnings? You know, just to let people know that, look, you are the reason why you could write such a fantastic lyrical content in this album. It's not just what it's things that you've actually experienced for yourself.
100%. So even like, so before I even say that, get into that, it's like, I had to get, so the other day we won the, obviously, Independent, the album of the year at the awards, and I felt compelled, to, it was in a room, obviously the award, the nominations was brilliant artists like Ray, for her album, smashed it, obviously. Little Sims smashed it. Just brilliant artists, Shy Girl. All brilliant artists. Yeah. And obviously winning that award, I felt compelled for that room of people, not from our culture, to understand like this ain't no music shit. You know what I mean? God Save the Streets ain't no artist going in the studio and just rapping about some shit. And you know, this is
real life.
Yeah, this is real life. This ain't no thousands of cells. This is thousands of lives. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't be able to make God Save the Streets if I didn't know what losing my friends to violence felt like. If I didn't know what, you know, skipping class in school to sell Class A was like. Do you know what I mean? And then getting addicted to money and all this shit. You know what I mean? When I ain't know, I wouldn't have the, you know, I wouldn't have the sort of context. I wouldn't have the experience. You know, this is real. So I reeled off a list of names, for example, of dead people in, you know, young people losing their lives, and it's like to let them know this is real life that we're making music from. Do you get me? This ain't no music shit, you know. So like with myself, obviously, you know, I come in. It's like, and I can't remember the phrase that the right terminology, whether it's asylum seekers or refugees, but one of them, my family from Angola, come here, you know, and you know, growing up in Tottenham, I'll be real, lived a great life with my family at home and all of that, you know. You almost don't notice the struggle until a certain age, you know. You got brothers and sisters and life's great. You know, maybe you notice certain things that you can't get the trainers that your certain man have at school. You can't get certain things, but you know, you're making it work. You know, I remember like my first Christmas gift was at 10 years old. You know, and it's one of the greatest feelings I've ever had. Do you know what I mean? It's a Dreamcast, like a games console. Yeah. You know, so we went without, which is fair. A lot of people went without. I'm lucky to have gone without. You know, I wouldn't have it any other way. Like I almost feel bad for people born into money and wealth. I feel really bad. Like you don't really have the sort of springboard or a platform to do anything like worthwhile to humanity. You know? You don't really have. Rarely it happens that a kid's born into riches or whatnot and does anything impactful. Unfortunate, you know. I feel bad for them. But you know, and then as I got older, you know, you start building that relationship with struggle where you feel maybe hard done by or how comes or you know what I mean. Lost my old man, maybe I think I was around 14, you know. But eventually I learned that that's the greatest thing that ever happened to me. Do you get what I'm saying? I love my old man dearly, you know. But then I learned, as I got older, I started to learn, more in recent years, if I'm honest, that, you know, the worst thing that happened to you can be the best thing that ever happened to you, depending on how you sort of relate to it. And
it made you independent. It made you go out there.
Yeah. You know, and then obviously in school, I guess, I say I recall being referred to as a bright boy, you know what I mean, in terms of my academic potential, but I just wasn't interested, if I'm honest, like, you know, like.
And do you think that was because of the players around you, why you weren't interested?
Yeah, it has to play a part. The environment has to play a part, surely, you know, in everything. Environment has to play a part. I think also just knowing that, I mean, even at the time, but looking back, knowing that I just didn't care about enough of the subjects, you know, and then they tried to, you know, hint words at your parents like, oh, maybe you've got like attention deficit or whatnot. But then I knew that wasn't true. That can't be true because I don't have it when I'm playing GTA or FIFA. I can play that for 8 hours. So where does the attention deficit go then? You know, if someone has asthma, the asthma doesn't go for certain things. You just have it.
So you refused to be labelled. You totally refused.
It didn't make sense. Yeah. It didn't make sense to me. You know, so where was it? What did you ask me just before that?
About your upbringing.
So that's like my story in school, and obviously environment plays a big part because without environment, you know, you don't get caught up in certain things, etc. You know, like we're in school and like, you know, you're selling drugs because you kind of the proximity. Do you get what I'm saying? And money's every person. As soon as you learn what money, the use of money, you want it. Yeah, simple as that. Every human being, like, you know, and then you know, growing up without, you see an opportunity to cut corners and get it quickly. Yeah. It's likely you're gonna do it. You know, and then what happens? Hunger turns into greed quickly. Do you know what I mean? Because you're doing it because you're without, but then you start making some dough and it's like, rah, it's quick, and then it turns into greed, and then you're selling to addicts, but really you're the addict because you're addicted to the game. Do you know what I mean? And
sorry to cut you there. So sorry to cut you there. What advice would you give someone now who's where you were at that moment?
It's so difficult because when you're out there or whatnot, you got to be lucky every day. But it's like the law's got to be lucky once and just catch you. And that could be 10 years or whatever. I think the advice I give is to definitely the advice I give is to find out or put big focus on two things. What you're good at. What are you good at and what do you care about? Find that thing and stay there. And then 2, look at the elders. Look at them. Just look at the landscape of them. And you'll notice that they're all doing the same shit that they were doing from they were your age till now. Most of them are dead, in jail, or just doing the same shit in the same spot. Look at them.
Yeah.
Keep looking at them and remember that. And then also, what are you good at? What do you care about? And stay there and dream, because dreams save lives.
Brilliant.
You get what I'm saying?
Brilliant advice.
Keep dreaming. Like dreams save lives. You know what I mean?
I just say to my young people who sell, well, not who sell, but it's to be able to get a little bit of drugs and then flip it to make money. That's a skill. Yeah. And, not saying, go and sell drugs, I encourage it, but use your money for something if you're going to invest in something. So that actually you're not doing this for the rest of your life, running on the block, going to bust that shot, coming back and then constantly just to buy nice clothes, cars. But
that's what I'm saying. That's huge. It's like hunger turns into greed like so quickly, because at the first, more time, it's the poverty is the problem. Going without, and you're like, you just want to make dough, and you find a way to get it quickly, but then you start doing it, and it's like, it's hard to get out.
But they spend it on silly things though, like this might be silly to me, but it's things that are clothes that all you have to get the latest trainers all the time. Wear £900 pair of trainers, and you get a scratch on them. I can't wear it no more. But then you're constantly having to do this, so you're not investing in your future in the sense of, if I use this to go and put money somewhere that it will double itself in a legit way, then actually in 5 years I don't have to do this anymore. I can actually live off that money, not live off, but 100%. Use that money to do other 100%. Things rather than.
I'll get you some education.
But you don't want to spend 25 years selling drugs and then you have kids and you're worried for your kids, because it's just such an endless.
Yeah, and it's a big challenge because we grew up not really feeling like we're supposed to. I don't know, like supposed to have like.
Well, the media.
Do you get what I'm trying to say?
The media out there portrays us as being. Inadequate to have anything. Yeah,
so it's like when you get it's like we don't feel like we're supposed to. So
the black man's always the drug dealer in the movies, or he doesn't have anything.
So it's like things like clothes. It's like that feeling of clothes is a powerful thing. Do you get what I'm saying? Clothes is a power, and anyone who doesn't believe me, but just notice how.
The thing is that they're taking that to validate themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the only way they can validate themselves. But look at me, I've got the latest trainer,
it's not,
or the garment. I love clothes. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, I can't walk past Zara without. All right, big up. There's other stores as well, but I cannot walk past certain shops without going in. And
that's what I'm saying.
I'm not spending. I've got no budget for clothes, but I love clothes.
That's what I'm saying.
I refuse to allow it to validate who I am.
Of course.
The youths, that's what they're doing.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. Yeah, and it's like they're choosing
youths,
even
adults.
Having the latest Gucci or Prada means you've made it.
It's all these things. Like you're choosing the now over the long term, and it's like in your mind as well. I can just say you can play on the fact that you don't even know what tomorrow's gonna bring. You could be gone tomorrow. So it's like, you know what I mean? All these things are like, clothes are so powerful. Like anyone not too sure what I mean, but by what I mean when I say that, it's like, just notice the difference of how you feel in your Sunday clothes to your work clothes.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
it.
That clothes is powerful.
Yeah.
Period. You know what I mean? It does something different to human beings. That importance is that sense of you get what I'm trying to portray, So, and a young person or someone in the streets gets an opportunity to sort of empower themselves in that way, and it's just like, that's everything at that time. Just that feeling of importance where you're so unimportant in society, you know what I mean? And it doesn't even feel, it's not a true thing, so it doesn't really, it's not real. You're living for the world, you get what I'm saying? So, it's difficult. And so just going back to
the fact of dreaming.
Yeah, dreaming. Yeah. It's you need, I'd ask someone, this is what I ask people, if I'm honest. when I'm talking to, I work with people, and when I speak with friends even, or people I work with, I say to them, young people, I say, it's going to sound a bit dramatic. You know what I mean? I say, why haven't you committed suicide? That's a question I ask. Honestly.
Yeah.
Why haven't you? Yeah. The reason why I ask it now, it's only recently that I've noticed that question can be powerful. The reason why I'm asking that is because the answers you get, you're giving yourself everything you need now. You've just told me exactly why you should go out there and make shit happen. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In that answer, you'll find all the contents of what you should go out there and fucking, can I swear I say? Yeah. and fucking make some shit happen for.
Yeah.
You know, because you're gonna say kids, you're gonna say this, you're gonna say because you can, you're gonna, whatever you're gonna say.
So they found a reason. They found a reason to live.
That's it. Do you know what I mean?
That's a very powerful question.
That's a powerful question.
Rather than think about what you don't want, you're focusing on what you do, what you do have.
Yeah, because for some reason you haven't ended it.
That's right.
Yeah.
So can you tell me why you haven't?
Yeah.
Do you know? And so like even myself, like this is I always say this, like when I talk about football, for example, I love football. I'm not
that's your thing.
Yeah, I love football. But
I was about to ask you, are you a footballer?
I mean, like football heroes or football is like for me. I remember there's times when I wasn't out with my mates when something happened because Barcelona was playing. I had to watch Ronaldinho. It happened twice. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. Or I was in the studio and so and so. And do you get what I'm saying? So the things you love, like go focus and stay there. You know, because they can keep you out of. What do you love and what's your natural? Yeah. And if you need help, just ask someone around you. What am I naturally good at? You know what I mean?
So when was it in your life? When was the pinnacle point in your life that you said, okay, no more of this street life. I'm going to put my energy into what I love. What age were you?
I'm not sure the exact age, but I think...
or what was the incident?
I think it's like there's enough incidents. It's like, okay, so my old man passing, cool. At first, that kind of sent me the wrong way. You know, my two basically best mates passed within 6 months. Space of 6 months. Epic. And then I think an important one, a very important one, I think it's a combination of all of those 4 or 5. Yeah. So an old man passing, my 2 best mates passing in that space of 6 months. And another important one was my guy who I was doing what I was doing with. He went, he got nicked for, it was like 200 and something pounds worth of flipping Class A drugs. And he got like, it was like 2-3 years or something, due hard. I'm like,
what, for 200?
This is what, it was like a quarter. I said, I remember like, that, obviously because you know people, you know, you're kind of, it's like, you're kind of just, you almost feel untouchable until it happens. Something comes to your doorstep. Yeah. And then I remember just that, the reality, because it's the person that I would do what I'm doing with, and he's not there, he's away for that amount. And I was just like, it put things into perspective for me. And I'm like, I can be someone. Like I have more. I've always known I have more. I'm not like these madmen that I'm running around with or that I'm seeing every day. Yeah. And the environment is powerful in that sense, you know. Yeah. It is what it is. Like, it's, this, not to go to off topic, but it's like, environment is like the flaw that I see in like the prison system, for example. Like, there's no way that that's somewhere for rehabilitation. No. It doesn't make no sense. It's not designed for that. It's not designed for that. I don't care what you say, government or whoever, it doesn't make sense. Because how are you putting someone in jail? Yeah, talking about his rehabilitation. When he's in jail, like, sort of cramped with loads of other criminals in a dirty sort of clogged place, constantly reminded that he's not good enough for society. Do you get what I'm saying? Probably making more connects to expand his. Do you get what I'm saying?
You're learning more.
You know, like that ain't a
like-minded.
You're in the system. That you know what I mean. You're in that sort of. You're staying there, and that it's harder to break. Only the strongest mind can break out of that, the mindset or the mentality in the situation of jail. It's almost impossible. Do you get what I mean? It's not impossible. It's almost, you know, if it was really a place for rehabilitation, it would look more like a hospital,
people
a mental
keep
place.
going back as soon as they go in.
Yeah, it look more like a mental hospital. It look more like a place clean. Everyone's separate. There'll be a psychiatrist. So man could start working on themselves and recondition themselves to come out and be a useful person in society. It'd be a completely different. So environment is powerful. Do you know what I mean? But at the same time, what inspired a big inspiration for God to Save the Streets is as I got older, what I worked out was that the narrative that I had about being in the struggle or, you know, having a more difficult life experience, feeling hard done by and all these things, I made a decision, or I came to the realization that, oh shit, I'm lucky to have been poor. I'm lucky to have, and maybe even a bit poorer than the everyday person, because, you know, we never had like normal documentation to get even like benefits and stuff. It was quite difficult. Yeah. But lucky to have had all these challenges, lucky to have lost, you know, my old, listen, the best thing that ever happened to me is losing my old man, because him passing away, you know, I changed my surname to my stage name, you know what I mean? And it gave me an unlimited source of motivation forever to, you know, make a legacy and do the name proud and actually have a career. Like Avelino was like a thing, you know what I mean, out there, like, I don't know, over 1 million sales and stuff and hundreds of millions of streams.
I'm sitting next to someone famous.
No, it's not, but it's like, you know,
he doesn't see himself that way.
No, you didn't walk in here like that.
I'm very fortunate to, you know, to know him like this. And he's just one of the most humblest men.
I'm in awe of just how you.
You know,
such a lovely being. It's,
you know what though, because I guess for me, especially today, it's like, okay, so part of that sort of, I remember going out to pick up the award the other day. Yeah, so the important award is really good. And there's a good feeling. But I remember coming off the stage, I remember holding it and I'm like, this is a good feeling. But it's not better than when I'm just making music in the studio. It's not better than how I feel when I've done my run and the time's better than the last one. It's not better than the feeling when my niece FaceTimes me. It's not better than when I'm spending time with my bird. It's not better than when, you know...
And his bird's lovely too.
Do you get what I'm saying? When me and my, I don't know, mum sort of rekindle and repatch certain issue or whatnot. It's not better than when I'm just hanging with my sister. It's not better than any of these things. Not worse, but these are all magic. Do you get what I'm saying? And everyone is dispensable. You know what I mean? So it's better to be calm. It's better to be great and joy, but just know everyone's like, it's like we're everything and nothing at the same time. You know?
I guess it's how do people get to that mindset. So as much as like when you've shared what you have shared is like a lot of loss that happened, but you use that loss in a sense to drive you or to help you to look at life from a different perspective. We always know like we're here today, gone tomorrow, and when someone passes away, we tend to think, oh, we should send love to our loved ones, and we always say it, and then we just go back to normal. Not everybody, but I mean, for some
100%.
people, there's that emotional shift that happens. That actually life is so short. You don't know what tomorrow holds. I know when my dad passed away, so like tomorrow will be 10 years.
Peace,
I was like, oh, I wouldn't care because I didn't grow up with my dad. I wouldn't really, I wouldn't care. But then when it happened, I was like, oh, I was just in tears, like really upset, really emotional, and I still will cry now when I put the video together and stuff. Because I didn't grow up with him. It was something that I longed for, to have that daddy girl and be that feeling. Like, so we had talk on the phone and stuff. He lived in another country, but we don't realise sometimes the effects that some of the things that we go through have on us,
of course.
whether it be positive or negative. And it's sometimes, hard to, it's like you can't see the picture over there, but you have this squiggly mind, and how do you make the strings just... It's still messy, but it just makes sense. Yeah. I always say to my clients when I first come, I said, oh, I'm just like a canvas and you just splatter everything on it, and then we'll make a beautiful picture. We'll begin to understand it. We begin to accept the good parts, the bad parts, the hard parts, because they're all part of what makes us who we are. And it's the meaning, like I think you said it, that we give to stuff. That creates the feeling, creates the hurt, creates the beauty of stuff. 100%. It's the meaning. Like you could have took that award and been like, yes, this means I'm somebody, or you could be like, actually it's great and it's a good feeling. You embrace the feeling, and there's so much things that can relate to, like, because some other people who want to be where you are might think, once I get that, I'll be like on top of the world, and you realise, you can get all the awards, you can get all the stuff
for the wrong reasons.
but you can get all of it, and then you realise, doesn't mean nothing when you once you get it.
100%. Like, you know, it's like I'm just one person out of how many people on Earth? 8 billion or whatever. Yeah. Out of how many people of the last 10 years? Like, you know what I mean? How many people go and come every day? How many planets? What's this? 7 or 8 in the solar system or whatever? How many galaxies?
Do science at school.
I don't know the number. How many hundreds of millions of billions of galaxies? Just chill. You know what I mean? Just chill. Enjoy the ride. You know what I mean? Because another thing I find is like when people like become up here from good stuff, I noticed that those same people, when the bad things happen, are like all the way down here. But if you could just stay level.
Balance. And that's what it's about. It's about how you ride the ebbs and flows. Again, you know, when we look even at your interview, it's about ebb and flows. You don't want ever to be so up there, because when you're up there, there's only one way to come down. So you want to try and keep that lovely wave and stuff. So I remember even the first time I was fortunate to meet you. You came and sat down and we did talking therapy.
Yeah, of course.
And I had no idea who you are. You know me. I'm like, anyone could walk in here.
Yeah, of course.
It's like you're just another human being. But, you know, when you began to tell me who you were and, you know, the things you've done and that, you've had that humbleness from the first time I met you before this album came.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
You know, so it's a part of your makeup as well. And it's something that you chose to be and you've stayed and remained that way.
Yeah, and I think...
You know, and I applaud you for that.
I appreciate that. I think it definitely comes from home with my old man, you know what I mean? I always say I don't think I needed another day with the big man. He done what he needed to do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? All the, like, just little things in my mind, like everything you have, like, share or find out. You know what I mean? Or ask if it wants to be shared. Like, you know what I mean? I couldn't have something and be with my brothers and not offer it to them. Impossible. You know, or just all those little things.
That's turn into the person you are.
And another thing I'd like to say to you as well is that you speak your truth. Because when you, I'm not sure if it's when you received your award, but there was, I think, members of parliament, or there was some kind of government. Yeah,
who was there? It's like the chairman of UK Music or something.
Yeah, and you literally just told them as it is.
That's why
feeling
I had to.
I don't care who you are, but this is how I feel, and you expressed that.
Yeah, I felt like I was responsible to do that because it was a room full of people that ain't from our thing, don't understand our thing, and they might be seeing Avelino, God Save the Streets, and think, oh, how come so and so hasn't won it? How come so and so hasn't won it? So I literally had to let them know, like, this ain't about thousands of cells, it's about thousands of dead bodies in the streets that ain't stopping. You know what I mean? And this is the spirit that I've made this music from, you know, and understand there's a whole bunch of other rappers that come from this, you know, and I just felt compelled to do that in that room, you know, and obviously the person you're speaking of, obviously he's in the hierarchy of, I don't know, people or government, he's clearly important, chairman of UK Music. But had I not communicated that, he might not get it, you know, because that's a world far removed from his, very far removed from his.
Again, we've been speaking about mental health in men. Do you think that these are one of the massive reasons that keeps your mental health in such a safe space?
Yeah, I think mental health is a big challenge, man, because I think generally society in general mentally is weaker, I think, you know, because times are better than maybe they were sick in the past. I saw this sort of thing where it's like tough times make tough people make good times make weak people make tough times. Do you get what I'm saying? And I feel like we're in after, you know what I mean? I feel like, so with that being said, I'm very understanding of where we are. It's because people don't have to grow up in a certain way, you know? So the benefits of that is that we can sort of, you know, work on or be good at areas that our parents might have not been so good at. You know what I mean? Because we don't have the necessary, like, for example, our parents may be more, I don't know, rigid or tough or etc. And it's like, you can't be mad at them because that's an amazing thing, because that's how they were able to do what they did, you know? Like, my parents are from Angola and Congo, and it's like, my mom's lost siblings trying to migrate to Europe, like, on the way. It's that deep, do you know what I mean? Yeah. My mom's lost her both parents when she was like a minor. Do you know what I mean? And had to sort of find a way through life, and that's and that's why you get these super mums, like they can do everything. Growing up, they're doing everything. You know, so it's like you can't. We're like, oh, but our parents ain't. But listen, but what are they? Don't look at our parents are. You know, and people of that ilk are the people that built society. You know what I mean? Yeah. Our generation ain't strong enough to build no society. Yeah.
We were saying the other day, my friend's mum, she'll go work, come back, cook from early,
Legends.
and still be. And we're like, you be in the kitchen all day, all cooking all the food for a party. Like when I mean all the food for a party, not I'm just doing the chicken, everything, lots of meats, lots of. And still have the energy at the end of the day. We're like, we said, we're not built like that. We'll be like, I'm tired.
Like exactly.
No, we're going to send the chicken to the people.
Exactly.
Season and fry for you, bring it out.
These people make things good, and it's like, it makes us, you know. But obviously, like I said, we're all human beings, and we're a product of situation, environment, etc. So I'm also understanding, and I'm just like, you know, my advice or my sort of message in general is just look that things are always two ways. It's like, it's you know, something is a gift or it's a curse, and
polarity.
Your sort of way of thinking or your perspective on it just runs the show. You know, there's two footballers. One's called Cristiano Ronaldo. One's called Adriano. I always use football examples. I love football.
Good thing.
Cristiano Ronaldo's dad died. He became the best player in the world, or one of the best players we've ever seen. Took his thing to a different level.
That's right.
Adriano's old man passed, and he talks about it in recent years, and he says he just never was the same again after that. You know, he's like, he had an injury. He had a quote. He's like, he had an injury. There was a hole in his Achilles, but he never healed from the hole in his heart. Do you get what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, Adriano was one of the most important players, like promising, he's sick, he's amazing. But it's like it can go two ways. And that's nothing to do with talent. That was a mental reaction to the same situation. And, you know, in this Western world, in this world we live in today, you know, men and women can truly say they're free. Why? Because you truly have the capacity, the freedom to decide how you feel about things. Yeah. Your mental reaction to everything.
It's a fantastic message.
Do you feel me? Like you have like the capacity. Like I said, my story, as we just spoke about, could have gone a completely different way, only but for my mental reaction to everything eventually. And the thing is, look, you know, I could have. Like, I'm not. Look, my point is, what I'm trying to say is, I'm not in control of everything. I could have died. I could have gone to jail. But you know, no matter what happened to me, other than death, obviously, because I wouldn't be here. You know, I would never lose the right or the power to choose my reaction to it. There's a man called Viktor Frankl who come up with logotherapy, and he was in a concentration camp.
Yeah, man's actually written the book.
Do you get what I'm saying? And he's like, he said a bad boy quote. He's like, what got him through it is like he found that man's final freedom is the ability to choose something along the lines of, you know, how he feels about things or something. And
choice.
He was the guy in there, do you know?
That's right.
And that's a prerogative, that's a power that we have in this wild, wild west. Do you get me? We have that, and no matter what you've gone through, you have full control over your reaction mentally to that thing.
It's the lens in which we look through.
Yeah, 100%.
The meaning we give to stuff. So
100%.
Someone could come in this room now, do something, and we will all respond differently, or react differently to it. But we have that choice. And maybe over the years, people have been built to feel like we don't have that choice. We just have to react to them. The default that comes, I get mad when someone does that. So, like, I don't do road rage, but sometimes I could be in the car, people getting really angry. I'm like, from a beep. Why do people get mad? You just beep. The beep could have been like, I'm just letting you know the lights are changing. But people see this beep as a,
exactly.
Just wait, and they get all, but just little things like that. And I think it's about, again, we spoke about it in the last person about just becoming self-aware, becoming aware of your feelings. Where do you feel it? What's going on for you in moments?
What is it triggering?
Yeah, and just asking yourself that question. So a book I was reading called Managing Your Emotions, it said, when you get angry or you're feeling stuff, it said, ask yourself, what am I neglecting? Because our body talks to us. The more we connect to it, it talks to us. It tells you, you know, like you said, you know, not eating sugar. And as soon as you eat it, you see the effects it happens. But when you're constantly eating, you don't realise what's happening. When we take things away, you start to see, that's what that does to my body. That your body starts talking because it's got that clear space.
That memory,
to be able to be open and talk. So, no, that's beautiful. I'm just in awe, like sitting here. Belinda did say, like, when he sits down, you're gonna be so in awe.
Nah.
I like, but no, just it's the level of how you think and see.
Oh, guys, man, I'm gonna
realize.
I'm getting ready.
No, but I always say, but I always say to you, you have this, you have an energy about you that you know. I've adopted you. It's what it is, But it's like you have an energy that is just it's safe. It's a safe energy. Not many people carry that.
Do you know what? But
it's maybe that humbleness about you.
I guess maybe not many people, like I say, have been fortunate enough as me to have experienced as much pain and hardship.
But you're at peace. That's really the energy that you carry. It's a very peaceful energy.
Yeah. And another thing to reiterate is like, people go through much more than me. Do you know what I mean? People have gone through much more than me, but it still doesn't change the fact that we have full control over how we feel about everything. You know what I mean? Like today is my good cousin's birthday. He just passed the other day. Do you know what I mean? Grew up with him, my guy. It's, it happens. We're all gonna go.
Cool. And the tax man too.
You know what I mean? And it's like my sort of how I relate myself to his passing, obviously with a lot of experience and practice. You know what I mean? But it's like I could despair that he's not here. Oh my God. Or, I prefer to go, how lucky was I to even have known
That's
him.
right.
I relate, some of my best memories is growing up with him and the times we spent. And do you get what I'm saying? So that's what I'm taking from the situation. I feel not zero despair because I'm going to die. We're all going to die.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And obviously, at the same time, don't get me wrong, you're going to feel sad, you miss them, etc. Yeah. But to despair and to, be destroyed or by death,
allow it to bring you down. It's a total waste.
It's a total waste of energy, and
it's not being present either, is it?
So like rest in peace to my guy, and I'm like, I feel like it's a way of thinking that should filter through to everything. Yeah. Everything. Yeah. And it definitely takes practice. It's like rewiring your mind.
What steps would you give to someone who wants to get on that journey of how do I rewire my mind? How do I take control of reacting, how I respond to situations that may go.
So I guess it's like, we're not much different to like, I don't know, like machine, I don't think,
It's a reset button.
It's a reset button and doing things over and over and over and over and over again, like being aware at first. And I don't know, maybe you might need maybe there's a few books that are on that type of topic that you just read over and over again. Maybe there's, something you write on the wall, on your vision board or saying or affirmate, It's just about, because you want to get to a place where you just think about something, your reaction to something is your natural way, and the only way to get there is by repetition. So, for example, maybe it's like something's happened. Maybe it's like you write, I don't know, you could have had a few bad events. You write down, I don't know, this has happened and it makes me feel like and then you write out a good thing about that scenario, and then you just cross out the one above, and you always read that one over and over again. And it might sound a bit like boring or pragmatic or whatever, but
that's what takes us.
That's what we have to do.
It's just a reconditioning thing, just rewiring, And I guess for me personally, I'm just thinking about other people. For me personally, I find it easier because, there's a group of people that I'm always talking to about things, so like even when I'm going for something or I'm very driven, it's because that's what I'm talking about all day, and that's part of the programming, that's part of the conditioning. It's setting something into your mind, so autopilot just does the job, and you almost don't have to think about it.
So your subconscious mind and your conscious mind, which is something you and I sit down and speak about a lot, you just reconditioning your subconscious mind, and you're allowing them to marry now, you do go on autopilot.
Because I even think of autopilot, it's like you want to get to that place where it's like you set the sort of parameters, that's the stress or the focus or whatever, and then to the point where, once you let go of it, it just takes you to wherever you need to go. That's right. You might have to, I think on a plane, they got to like readjust it certain times, maybe. But
hit the turbulence.
Do you get what I mean? And that's where you want to be with these things. But so you just want to get to that sort out that first bit, which takes repetition. You got to learn the pilot.
That's right.
I'm sure he's got to learn all this shit.
Yeah.
Be aware of what he's doing.
The more you do it, it becomes that second nature.
Where do you want to go? You know, and I just believe that's how this shit works. You know, we're not much different to the plane. We're not much different to the machine that just.
Oh, the sat nav, as we say.
Yeah, we're not much different.
We just go for it.
You know, so like I say, I think it's always you got to find what works for you, I guess. But I'm pretty sure that it's always in just repetition. You know, that's the key.
Thank you.
I think so, yeah.
I've learnt, I feel a bit more like, do you know what? Though I do it, but I'm in this season at the moment where it's really about reflecting about how you feel, what you're doing, you know. But I want to get to a place where that happened, it's happened. Nothing I could do, it's in the past. You really can't change the past. Yeah. All I could do is change how I might respond if I met with that experience.
And I guess it's like, rather than sort of trying to like get rid of things, I think it's like replacing them. Getting rid of it just makes the job harder. Like, for example, the reason I say that is like, we're talking about death just now. Dealing with death is not going, oh, it's happened, I'm keeping it moving. That's not really dealing with it. No. It's just going to show up in uglier ways. Right. I think dealing with it is flipping the way you see it. So it's replacing it. So like I said with my cousin, it's like I could focus on oh my gosh, she's not here. That's like the despair. Cracking on, which some people can do, ain't a good thing. But rather going, no, I'm so lucky I'm so grateful. Boom, boom. All the experiences we've had, that's my guy. Thank you. Lucky to have known you. Life has been better for it than without. And then moving on, because you're taking something from it. You're replacing it. I think if you don't replace it, it's like, I don't know, like a seed. No matter how far you bury it, it's going to show up eventually. It's going to find its way to the surface. Yeah. And in an uglier way, because you neglected the seed, or you neglected the plant. Right. But if you look after it, and it's going to be beautiful.
Accepting things from what it is.
Accepting things
and sitting with the feel. Observe it. Yeah. Not with all, because something I was reading about, one emotion can bring 1,000 thoughts.
100%.
That we connect to that one emotion that we're feeling, but sometimes we have to observe it from objective, from the outside,
looking in,
and being like, okay, I'm feeling like this. Oh, what might be going on for me? But not attaching any meaning to it. You're just exploring it, allowing it in the room, and then it will pass.
And the key word is to feel it and to acknowledge it. Once I've acknowledged it, now I can change it. And then when you're saying about a substitute, we can do it as simple as, say, like with foods. Yeah. Like, I've chosen to give up sugar. So although I've given up sugar, what I'm going to do is replace it by drinking more water. So it's going to make me healthier. Yeah, because then you're not focusing on, I'm going without this. You're focusing on more of this. More of that, because the less sugar I put in my body, then and the healthier I'll be by drinking water. Simple. And it's just finding ways of dealing with things. Because you'll find, like, I don't know, like someone who's obsessed or fear and shook of, like, I don't know, bad health, and that's what they focus on. Yeah. Stuff will just come to them. Or focus on what because what you remember, as we know, what you focus on is what you get, whether it be good or bad or ugly. So so if you're trying to improve your health, don't focus on, not being unhealthy or whatnot. Focus on being healthy. Like, I mean, right. Picture yourself being a healthy person, doing the things that a healthy person would do. 100%. That's the way, And like I say, it's not easy, but all these things will help your mental health. Yeah. We all need to be aware of our mental health. Yeah, and I guess, like, in essence, I feel like mental health is just, how do you relate yourself to everything? Do you relate yourself to, things in a way where they become a curse, or do you relate yourself to things in a way where they become a blessing? And I think it's as simple as that. It's not easy, but it's as simple as that, because life's going to constantly throw things at you that's out of your control, but you never lose control over your mental reaction to things, and with, like what you asked me earlier in terms of mental health, if I'm speaking to society, people my age, young, or whoever, I just say it's important to know that losing doesn't mean you're lost. No, it's an opportunity to start again. Exactly. Defeat doesn't mean you're defeated. No. There's crazy people that's existed, like Thomas Edison, for example, you see the story of 10,000 failures and then coming up with the light bulb. We can talk about the man the man who was brought up in an orphanage, and when he left the orphanage, he had £900 and he used to do pizzas. And he had £900 and then he brought in another person to help him, and they took so much money out of his account, and he thought that this was it. Then instead of him just making pizzas for people to come, he decided to make pizzas to bring to others. We're talking about Domino's. That's how Domino's, he started the delivery service. Out of that, you know. Now, I listen to sermons. I listen to Joel Holston in the morning. I listen to a lot of sermons, and I love that. But it's again by being persistent, by knowing this is where I want to go. As something's gone wrong, but out of that, I can change it to make it something else. And you know, when you listen to write stories or you speak to people, talking and listening,
100%,
it really does.
100%. That's a powerful word, persistent. And what I'd say to kids in the streets is like, you know, like there's no such reality as something for nothing. You get me? Like the price you gotta pay for, you know, any real success or anything you want in life is at least persistence. You get what I mean? And also, you cannot get away with, you know, the life of crime and violence. You can't. You know, because if you're not going to pay with death or jail, at least you're going to pay with 100% lack of peace of mind. Do you know what I mean? It's impossible. Like there's a total impossibility of peace of mind that comes with that life. It's impossible. You know, so you're going to pay with one of the three. You know what I mean? I call it like the unholy trinity. Do you know what I mean? At least. So, you know, look at the oldest them. Just look at the pattern. You know, you can't beat the pattern. Look at the pattern. And look where they are. Look, you know, and just look within yourself. And what are you good at? What do you like? What do you love? And then dream. And then go, you know? Yeah. And dreams can change. You might have a few years' time. You might have another. You ask a man, what's his purpose? That can change. The purpose is like asking a man, what's the best move in a chess game? It depends, doesn't it? On who I'm playing or where the thing is. Yeah, I mean, it just depends on where you are in life and the situation, you know? So dream, save life. That's the problem with enough men that I speak to. You just don't have a dream. You don't know your place in the world, you know? And maybe you're looking for it, but you're looking for it everywhere, but in the mirror, you know? And maybe my hope is that one day, maybe through something I say or one of my works, you finally meet the greatest person you're ever going to meet, which is yourself. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's lovely. Oh, I could talk to you forever.
I've got some homework to do.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
No, I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. And, you know, as we say, if there's one sentence, one word that we can do to help somebody out there who's listening to this, then, you know, so be it. Our job is done. You know? So thank you for being here. Of course, we'd love you to share, subscribe, and like. And do you
want to share your socials?
Yeah, Avalino, official Avalino, Instagram, official Avalino, Twitter. I don't know if I have any others.
Instagram.
Did I not just say that?
Oh, if you said Twitter.
Yeah, Instagram and Twitter the same.
Oh, okay, cool.
And then
it shows how much we know.
And then obviously Spotify, Apple Music. It's just my name, Avelino. Have a butchers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Because I've lost so much of myself, my identity, who I was. Everything was so consumed in how bad I was hurt by this relationship and this situation.
So it sounds like you forgave yourself.
Myself, because I was fighting, you know, for love. And I think, you know, when you kind of see relationship around you, you're thinking it has to be painful, you know, you think that's love. Love has to be painful. So I was just kind of fighting for this marriage. It's all about, you know, looking for someone to fix me, looking for the validation, the attention, looking for someone to say, I love you, you're worthy. You understand? When you could have given that to yourself, you know, it's you know, it's a catfish. So I decided to kind of, you know, savor, you know, ties with him. I was like, you know, to me, you know, you betrayed me. Why would you do this? And so forth. And he kept making excuses that, you know, it's me, you know, you're the one who's doubting, it kind of put it back on me kind of thing. Even the strongest of us, even though we present this wonderful picture and everything is going so well in our lives, people struggle. And I find, you know, we're good at hiding because we don't want to be judged, and we don't want people, you know, to think that, oh my God, you know, you haven't got it together. You know what I mean?